Don't press it the rest of the meeting and mess with it.
Yeah, now I've got control.
Content of this meeting.
Probably YouTube. All right, you guys ready down there? Mr. Baker?
Yes.
You guys ready? Okay, we will call this meeting to order. All right, the city council regular business meeting Thursday, December 21st, 2:32. I'm gonna start over. Thursday, December 21st, 2023, 6 p.m. Lindsay, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Lester,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Reba,
Here.
Cool,
Here.
Livingston.
Here. Okay, first item on the agenda is second item, Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand and join me.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, before we move on to the next item, I just want to remind everybody that Zoom and YouTube are both ways that the city provides a convenience so people can participate in our meetings from a remote location. However, at this point in time, both are conveniences and are not guaranteed methods of participation. If we have some technical difficulties like we did at our last council meeting, we're not going to pause the council meeting and wait for those difficulties to be resolved. We will continue with our agenda. If you want a guaranteed method to participate in the meetings, then please come on down to City Hall and join us in person. So the next item on the agenda, number 3, approval of the agenda. Would anyone like to move any of the consent item agendas to the regular agenda? Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
A motion. Second.
Okay, motion by Lester, second by Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same. Okay, that passes. Now we have a dedicated work session. And so I would welcome Trina Fleck and company.
I'm not treating it
You
like.
are not. You are not.
But she's a lot taller than I am. You'll see her in just a second. Good evening, council, mayor, city staff, beloved guests, glad you're here. Happy to be here. We'll be brief. My name is Greg Edwards. I'm the president, CEO of Catch Des Moines, which is the Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau. We've been in business since 1908 and still cranking along very well. So this is our opportunity to introduce ourselves to you, give you a little bit background of who we are, what we do, in the hopes that you will consider down the road of becoming a member of our organization.
Oh, wait a second.
We can give up control.
There you go. Now you should be able to, there you go.
So our mission is to market the greater Des Moines region as a visitor destination, increasing economic growth and enhancing the visitor experience. It's really very simple. Increase visitors to the metro area, visitors being conventions, meetings, sports, motor coach tours, leisure travelers, business travelers. Obviously, all of those things create more economic impact and fresh dollars coming into our community. We're big on the regionalism thing, as I know you all are too. Are we missing part of that?
Yeah.
Obviously, the more we work together, we currently represent 14 municipalities around the region, as well as Polk County. We are in conversations not only with you, but also with Waukee and Dallas County as well to expand our region area. Obviously, we feel we do more together. It makes no difference to us when we book a meeting, convention, whatever it is, if they stay in Altoona or West Des Moines or downtown or wherever, because we're all one and it's all part of the Des Moines Metro. Obviously, we bring in prestigious and fun events like NCAA tournaments and different things that kind of give us bragging rights around the country. We promote community pride and add a lot to community pride by some of the events we bring in. And obviously we offset costs because when visitors come in, obviously they're supporting jobs. There's 18,000 plus jobs between Dallas and Polk County that work in the travel industry here in our region. Our board is made up, every community receives a seat on our board, and you can see the communities listed on this slide. We have then 7 hospitality members, 3 of which have to be hoteliers. The rest can be restaurants, retail, etc. And then we have 6 community business leaders also that make up our board. You can see our executive board. Currently, our chair is Brian Mulcahy, who's the assistant executive director of the Des Moines International Airport. Greg Hudson, who's a city of West Des Moines councilman. Chris Conley, who runs the Iowa Event Center. Steve Peters, who is the general manager of the Hotel Fort Des Moines, and currently Mayor of Frank County. Obviously, that'll be changing here before long. Real simple on how our budget works. People travel to Des Moines, they spend money lots of different places, shopping, entertainment, hotels, restaurants, on and on, cultural and arts. Hopefully they spend the night in a hotel. When they check out of the hotel, they'll pay an additional 7% hotel motel tax, of which then the hotel writes the check at the end of the month to the state then writes the check to the cities. We then receive 2/7 of that hotel tax, so about 28%. The other communities give the other 2/7 to Bravo, and then 3/7 do stay within the municipality itself. Just last year in review for all of our bookings and all the things that we directly impact, and we don't claim that we booked the Iowa boys basketball tournament or girls basketball tournament, things that are annual events. We still stay heavily involved with these groups, but we don't claim it in our booking pace. So these are all new businesses, but for every $1 of tax money we receive, we return back over $25 into the community. So not a bad ROI on the investment. Our budget breakdown, also proud of that only 15% is really spent on the admin side of things. The rest is spent on what we're supposed to be doing, our convention and event experience, sales teams, our marketing team, and then our sports effort out there as well. I'm going to turn it over to Trina. Trina is our Vice President of Sales. Also with us is Brock Conrad, who's our Vice President of Marketing. See how much taller she is?
It's all in heels, right? Good evening. So my job, or our team, oversees the sales and event experience efforts for both convention and sport. So really, as Greg said, the mission to increase visitors relies heavily on conventions, events, sporting events. So our team we have a staff of 27, which you saw on the slide. About a third of that goes to sales and event experience, which is people trying to drive new business to the community and those taking good care of those visitors while they're here, in hopes that they'll come back, right? Or they'll stay an extra day. So last year, 371 events were part of our calendar, right? So they were either booked by us, we serviced those accounts, we had some hand in the events that happen. And this is metro wide. Like Greg said, we represent the entire region. 250 of those 371 were because of our sales efforts. So we don't count the Iowa State Fair, Drake Relays, that stuff that we have a hand in, but we don't, that number goes into the 371, but not the 250. So I'm happy to geek out on numbers if you want to go in the weeds more. We also booked an additional 261 events for future years. So we're constantly on the move for new years or new business. For 2023, 2024, this is just a highlight of part of what is happening or what has happened that our team has had a hand in. One of the big ones upcoming is Iowa Caucus. Not a lot of people know that we're heavily involved in the media center and creating those experiences for both the national media and the campaigns, and making sure that the footage and what is being reported out to the nation reflects well on both our metro area and the state of Iowa. Ironman 70.3, Norwalk. I mean, I was standing here in front of you guys several years ago, and you guys were heavily involved in the full Ironman that was hugely successful. So another thanks for your hand in that. We've got a 70.3 this year. We're slated to host another full distance Ironman in June of 25. So that's kind of an example of we're contracted with them multi-year. AAU Junior Olympics is another event on here that was a whole regional event. We're slated to host that again 2026, 2030. So we span across various markets, and in terms of what we're looking at, religious, medical, sports, ag, all sorts of different things. And we look at single property events that could be hosted in a hotel or a board meeting that's 10 people to things that are citywide and things that don't happen without us working together as a region. In 2024, we'll host the National Speech and Debate Championships. That'll bring 10,000 students to this metro, and they'll use the Iowa Event Center. They're going to use Waukee schools, West Des Moines schools, Des Moines Roosevelt. So it is truly one of those things that looks at the entire region to make happen. Competitive analysis, just to give you a little bit of an idea of who we compete with and how we compete with them, both in budget and staff. We track our competitors. We use a lot of data and what we're looking at, going after, supporting, who we're competing with, making friends in the industry. So that 7% hotel motel tax is a statewide tax. That doesn't vary municipality to municipality. And you'll see how that compares kind of across the board and that total checkout tax. So for us, that 12% is a 5% sales tax and a 7% occupancy. A little bit about our inventory, which continues to grow, other than a little bit of dip in closures. I really think of that as kind of a COVID effect, but we have almost 14,000 rooms citywide, and that's within that 14 municipalities. And you'll see the source is the STAR report, which is Smith Travel Research. So we track hotel occupancy rates, all of that information on a weekly basis and a daily basis and a monthly basis. And not only for our individual communities, but we also do it for some of our competitors. Greg touched on this in his intro. Meeting planners, sports planners, leisure travelers, and locals, right, are really our target audiences. My team specifically focuses on the planner piece of it for the events based. Brock does a ton with the leisure travelers. I'll let him touch on that. And the community is the locals. Community first is one of the things that you'll hear out of our office. Number one, this stuff doesn't happen without the support of the individuals and the buy-in, and not just from an event, but you have to believe in what we're hosting and raise your hand to say, I want to bring an event here, or, you know, the communities that say, I'm willing to put my police and fire towards a major event or close roads that are going to impact our community, that it all ties together. I'll breeze through this just so you know how our sales process works. Qualified prospect is an event that starts in our funnel. Our team is charged with finding 430 of those this year. So that's all planners that have said, we will consider Des Moines in a future year. So we'll consider Des Moines in 2028. We're not ready to start our process, but you're definitely being considered. We tag that in our system and move on, right? And then continue to follow up. A lead is those that are ready to say, we're going to consider Des Moines. And when I say Des Moines, I'm always thinking greater Des Moines. So it's like saying Chicago, right? A lead is those that are ready to make a decision. So they're considering us amongst, maybe 5 other cities as part of that. And we're working with them to find available dates, helping them understand what facilities are available, what hotel rooms, what they can do while they're here, how to get here, all those pieces that help make a decision. A definite is something that has committed or signed a contract. An assist are all the things that are talked about, like the Iowa State Fair or state basketball, those that we service but aren't responsible for. And top accounts are, we have over 600 in our system right now, and those are all kind of that we know that they would fit here. And so we're keeping good tabs on them. A little bit about our marketing plan. And this varies a little bit year to year, but it's pretty consistent. We attend trade shows and spread those out amongst all markets. Used to be that it was 70% conventions and 30% sports is kind of what we were seeing in terms of who was booking our community. That's really about 40-60. Now you'll notice it right here, right? That the impact of sports and the demand for youth sports is through the roof. And so we're really taking advantage of that with our facilities and the support of the community. So we attend all sorts of shows across markets. We technically have an office in Washington, DC, which allows us to participate in a couple of events focused on meeting planners. And I like to say that we have an office at the Willard, but it's actually a PO box. So that's just like our niceness. That's really how our budget works. We focus on third parties that make those influential decisions to meeting planners, and we leverage the other CVBs that are similar to us and do events with them so that we're really sharing the love. If you book an event in Madison, you can host an event in Greater Des Moines. So we try and share planners across that way. And then we bring in planners for site visits. We had actually 2 this week. And ironically, one of them was the Chimney Sweep Guild, because the week before Christmas, that is like the most important thing you could do, right? And then another one is an animal health group for 2026. So we're always looking at bringing people here. If we can get them to our community, we're going to book them. I mean, that is once we get them here, people fall in love with it. We also have a sports advisory committee, which is made up of all of our local sports leaders. So our college athletic directors, all of the professional sports teams, the major facilities in town, some of the corporate support, RDG, who, does a ton of the facility design, and they meet quarterly and talk about what's important, what could we go after, what are the next steps for our city. We also have a customer advisory board, which is convention planners. We bring them in twice a year, 12 to 15 people, and they are people that have booked our community or that we really want to book our community. And we show them everything and we ask them all the hard questions, and we expect really honest and hard feedback from them. So they're a real gift to us. And then Catch Champions, and that could be any of you guys. It's what we call our locals, and how those that raise their hand and say, I'm a part of this organization, or I think we should host this event. And I would say that probably 60% of our bookings come because we have somebody local involved that said it should be here. With that, I'll turn it over to Brock.
You did all that in spite of sewer under construction. Really impressive.
Start working on yourself.
Yeah.
And they've lowered the speed limit.
That's
Good on your city council, sorry about this.
I just have a couple slides here to talk about the marketing that we do. So my team, obviously a big part of what we do is helping Trina and her sales team make sure they have the assets that they need. She touched on that with the meeting planners and sports planner side of things, but we also really hit on the leisure travelers. Getting families, couples to come for a weekend and spend it in our communities is a big part of what we do. This here, it kind of shows what our marketing advertising mix looks like. We have $1.6 million that we use in that budget specifically for advertising throughout the year. This pie chart, without getting into a whole lot of detail, we work with Flynn Wright, who's a local advertising agency, really diving in on analytics and a lot of data to make sure that we're hitting people where they're looking for content. So if they're searching for things to do, if they're searching for places to visit, we try to get in front of them. If they're looking for certain things on social media, we like to get our content in front of them. So you can see there, we have a big portion of what we do is through social media. We do a lot of streaming TV, which is the new, Hulu, YouTube TV, any of that kind of stuff. That's for the cord cutters. But we still do broadcast TV also. That's very important for us. Paid search, that's when people are specifically looking for either stuff to do, travel, or if they're looking at some of our competitors, how we can get our name in front of them to get them to travel here. And then pre-roll video. I'm sure you guys all see those when you're on a website and you see the 15-second videos that you can't skip. You can, thank our team for that. But those work really well. You can tell a lot about a community and how much pride they have in it with some of those videos that we put out. And so we were really proud of those. And then the last one is a radio and then out of home. And that's 12%. There's a lot that goes into that. That could be print, digital billboards, radio, streaming radio, those sort of things too. That's just a little bit smaller piece of the pie. But we really try to hit all of our leisure travelers in every single spot that they can get. People use media in a lot of different ways, and we try to make sure we're in front of them. This is just one other kind of how we talk about our targeted marketing segments. The biggest thing with our leisure target market, state of Iowa is our biggest one. People in the state want to travel to the capital city region to make sure that they're spending the weekend, or maybe it's an extended weekend here, traveling for events and sports and stuff that her team's bringing. It's a big one for us. Omaha is probably our #1 market outside of the state, followed by Kansas City, Minneapolis, and then a couple other markets that we've been getting into the past year that we're seeing it grow and grow is actually Milwaukee and the Chicago area. And so a lot of people are looking for better priced destinations to go to for a weekend, especially with families. Things get expensive, and we feel like we're a really good sweet spot for those, being located right in the middle of all those cities. And then as far as target interest goes, arts and culture, great brewery scene around the metro, a lot of events, cultural festivals, family-friendly attractions. We really think that we have some of the best family-friendly attractions in the region. Foodies, shopping, sports, you name it. We're doing that digitally, make sure we get in front of those folks.
So in closing, this is the big sale part. Would you please sign this document? No. First of all, I think you all know that we've had several meetings with Luke and Holly with your economic development group, and very positive. We appreciate that. You have built a beautiful complex, as you well know, with lots of sports stuff on it. And that's one of our expertise. We're building a new hotel there. We also, one of the things we didn't talk about is our bid incentive line. You know, every convention and visitors bureau in the country buys business, literally. And we, I mean, our budget this year minus what we spent on Ragbri was about $800,000. Things that we do, like World Pork Expo that comes in annually, we give a bunch of money to help offset their rental rates at the fairground and things like that. Because they're always, Indianapolis is always after them, Louisville's always after them. So there's all these different groups that we incentivize to either stay here or come here. USSSA baseball, which is going to be a new client of yours, at your sports complex. We incentivize them every year. That's another group. We don't claim that we bring in all these tournaments that Bob Ager brings in, but we do give him a little incentive every year, just kind of as a thank you for what he does for the whole metro area. So that's kind of our pitch and kind of FYI for you all tonight. We're happy to come back if you want us to. If you don't, you'll still be our friends, and you're still our neighbors. So appreciate your time tonight. Are there any questions or comments? Especially from the outgoing council. You guys, would you vote for us if you were still on? All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate your time. We'll get on.
Okay, number 5 on our agenda, welcome of guests and public comments. We have a 3-minute limit, and because it's not on the agenda, we cannot take any action. If you'd like to comment on any item in the consent agenda, now would be the time to do so. Any takers? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Number 6, consent agenda. We have expenditures, tax abatements, December 7th, 2023 minutes of the regular city council meeting, new Class E retail alcohol license for Fairway, renewal special Class C retail alcohol license for China Dragon, resolution to approve pay estimate number 1 to Vanderpool Construction for the Sunset Drive Highway 28 and Chatham Avenue intersection improvement project. Resolution to approve partial payment number 5, including change order number 1 to Thorpe Contracting for the Wright Road Water Main Project. Resolution approving the disposal of SCBA packs, masks, and cylinders for the fire department. Resolution approving the purchase of ventilation fans for the fire department. Resolution approving an agreement with the shredder for participation in the 2024 residential paper shredding program. Resolution approving a verbal agreement with SPI Des Moines for participation in the 2024 residential white goods program. Resolution approving an agreement with Metro Waste Authority for participation in the 2024 residential scrap tire program. Resolution approving the agreement with A-Tech Recycling for the 2024 residential e-waste disposal program. Approval of Iowa Tobacco Retail Permit Application for Fairway, resolution approving pay estimates for the Norwalk Field House project. And there are 5 of those in the agenda statement. Resolution approving updated minimum assessment agreements with Sportsplex USA LC and Heartland Sports Properties LLC. Resolution approving a contract with the Mid-Iowa Planning Alliance to administer the Norwalk Rehabilitation Assistance Program. Resolution approving the facility update for the fire department. Resolution approving an agreement with BAMWX LLC. New Class C retail alcohol license for 804 Main. Correspondence and monthly reports.
I'll motion that, and you did a wonderful job.
Motion,
Second,
got one from Reva already.
perfect.
Motion by Cool, second by Reva. Else we need to discuss? All right, Lindsay, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Lester,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Reva, Cool.
Yeah.
Livingston.
Yes. All right, so we get to move on to number 7, old and new business for consideration, discussion, and possible action. A, resolution approving a Shadow Creek Estates Parkland Agreement. For Shadow Creek, council has approved 2 plots for that development, and there should be 6.59 acres of parkland in the southeast corner of the development. The city entered into an agreement for the parkland dedication. This resolution extends that agreement for another 2 years. So, Luke, Jim, Robin, anybody, anything to add?
And self-explanatory.
So the initial agreement was for them to get the money to us, or not the money, the land to us by December 31st this year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And this just gives them 2 more years to do it.
Yes.
Anybody else? Discussion? Motion? Any public comment?
Mention at all what they needed the time for, what happened? Just curious.
So this isn't necessarily a request from them. It's us trying to keep the agreement going. It had, well, I guess it expires the end of this month. And the development just hasn't progressed as we thought it would when we made the agreement 2 years ago. They don't have any change in their plans. They've not, again, it's not really a Shadow Creek initiated thing. We just want to keep that on the books so that anybody, if it did happen to change hands, they would be aware of that agreement and that requirement to give it to us. Yeah.
Sounds good. Motion.
Okay. All right, motion by Baker, second by Reva. Any further discussion? I asked for public comment, but kind of out of order, so I'll do it again. Okay, Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Reva.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
All right, 7B, second reading of an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Norwalk, Iowa by amending the parcel C land use regulations in the Dunn property planned unit development. Because of a stormwater drainage detention area behind one of the parcels, a request was made to reduce the setback for that parcel since the detention area provides a buffer. I don't know which Luke.
Could be that, Luke.
Nothing to add unless there's other questions on it.
Any discussion from council? Any public comment? Motion.
Second.
Motion by Reva, second by Cool. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Reva.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Livingston,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Almost your last vote.
All right. So that one passes. All right. Item 8, future agenda items. The purpose of this is for council to give direction to staff by way of motion to have items placed on future agendas, not for the discussion of the merits of any subject matter. So anybody have anything they, you guys have any pressing issues you need us to debate later?
So you gotta
Right?
get that.
Okay, so nothing for that. So then get to council inquiries and staff updates. Yes.
I just have one quick item. MetroNet is, they're starting up. In fact, Wayne, maybe you were gonna bring up something about this. MetroNet, as you know, they're starting to do some work in the community. They've been working with Wayne's office for all their permitting to be working the right of way. They're supplying fiber, so internet data services within the community. I've noticed it in the news a couple times about, I believe it might be My Fiber. So there's a couple companies working around the metro. You'll see a lot more activity in Norwalk as they distribute that service throughout the community. It's great. It's another competitor for internet. But with that work in right of ways where people think that's their yard, but it's actually easement, sometimes that can cause some frustration. So just letting you know that we might see some more activity as they get going. And that's all I have.
They put signs up in Western Ridge that it's coming.
Oh, really?
In every single yard, it's construction is coming, please be aware, mark your sprinkler heads, et cetera, et cetera.
That's good.
I would just
Good
tell
to
them to call David Lester.
That's it.
Okay, Brian?
We had good news. Metro Waste is going to extend the compost yard pickup to November 30. So they're gonna extend it another week. They noticed that I requested it and they started looking at it. That we're not getting the leaves out of the trees by the time our composting ends. So they changed
That's
that
great.
for next year.
Lindsay?
Luke Paris and I have had some meetings with the census. Luke, jump in if I miss anything. I'll just be brief. Basically, we need to start recruiting for census workers. It's up to the city to do that kind of recruitment and outreach to them. We're gonna start seeing some Facebook posts, things on our website. So if you know of anyone, please encourage them. We're gonna need them.
We need 105 applicants for the census to pick their 20 employees from is what they want us to target. So definitely please share. And yeah, if you know people that you think would be good, please encourage them to apply. What's that?
To do what? Go door to door?
Yeah,
It's, they've
most
got-
of them are field representatives. The others would be, I think there's 4 kind of more permanent office roles that are supervisory. So
then after that recruitment effort, we will start to then advertise that we are doing a census and that we want our residents to complete the census and why it's important, things like that. So anyone you talk to, just to help spread the word, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, so I have a couple other questions about the recruitment of workers.
Yeah.
So like you said, office, so is it like how long, how many hours, how long are we telling these people they have to invest?
it is temporary part-time. The field representatives are, I believe they say 30 hours max a week. I don't remember. We primarily have met with them about because they're doing field representative recruitment first, and then they'll come back and recruit the supervisors. So I don't recall if they gave us details on that. I think that one's more of a 40-hour position. But it's just from May through August. Yeah.
And they'll be federal employees. They're not gonna be city employees. They handle all the payroll and things like that. It's just we have to get people that live in Norwalk to do those jobs.
And is there any person who would be excluded from being able to, like city employee can't do it or anything like that?
There wasn't anyone specifically excluded. They want to target like actual Norwalk rent. So
Right.
50211 zip codes first. We did talk about, what if somebody applies from West Des Moines or something, and depending on their applicant pool, they'll broaden that out a little bit, but they really do want to keep it here, which makes sense because, if you got somebody walking around neighborhood asking questions, if it's Bill down the street, it makes people feel a little better than if it's some random person. So
That actually makes a lot of sense.
So I'll share that at the last national census, I was a census worker and I don't know the scale of it for this, but like I went and had a week-long training.
You will, yes.
Yeah, and then, you walked, they gave you a piece of paper with your section. And you went and knocked on every single door. I did mine mostly at night after work. went, knocked on every single door, and they give you a list of, the questions, how many people live here, right? Just kind of those things. There was lots of warnings about a lack of cooperation and, keep yourself safe and all that. I never had any issues. It was in, some like down the alley roads kind of thing. And then I was out in big streets but anyway, it's kind of interesting. So just FYI.
Yeah, and if we get enough response online, which is what we hope people will do, I mean, that's less door knocking that those workers will have to do, but there will be some that they have to go do.
Especially in newer neighborhoods. That's what it seemed like that was the focus for us, newer neighborhoods that hadn't been censused before.
Yeah.
I made that word up, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
18 and older,
Yes.
18 older, yep,
and this is probably mostly going to be summer work.
yes. Yep, and we've engaged, Jean with the library has some connections, that she's gonna help us with. Hoping to maybe get some college students that are coming back to get aware of it now as they're planning their summers out. And, be a good opportunity for some of them. Yeah, so just trying to get on top of it. And as Lindsay mentioned, we met with some staff as well, Ty and other Holly from our admin assistant. So appreciate, the extra help from other staff stepping up to help that, because Lindsay and I got a lot going on in addition to handling the census stuff. So yeah.
That's all I got. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Robin,
No,
can I ask you a question, Robin?
yes,
Is there a plan to get garbage cans along the bike trail?
no. But we can look into that.
I would love if we could look into that.
Okay.
I think with the nice weather, I've been walking a lot and there's just, especially like along 50,
Yeah.
apparently over the weekend, people were having a good time and there were beer cans all over the place and there's no place to, I mean, I could pick them up as I go, but there's no place to drop them along my walk. So anyway, not to mention that and the dog poop that's left by inconsiderate people along the edge of the bike trail. So anyway, I don't know, maybe that's a good, I don't know if you're still involved at all in Scouts now that your kids have done their great job. Eagle Scout, but that might be a great Eagle Scout activity or I don't know.
I was even gonna say civic order. What'd you say?
Be a great Rotary project.
I was just gonna mention that. Good idea.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, sorry, Robin, didn't mean to hijack your time.
That's it.
Jean Strable.
Just a couple quick things. I passed out the January, February calendar of library events, lots of great stuff coming up. And we are rolling out our community fridge and it's available to anyone to use. You can add things to it or you can come by and take food from it. It is for everyone. So if you eat food, there is something there for you. So please partake. It's a great way to eliminate food waste and to help feed those in need in our community. So it's open whenever the library is open.
All right, Holly's not on, right? Jean Kelly.
Luke and I met with some department heads this week, start going over the operation and the maintenance budgets. So we're getting that process started. And we'll meet with the remainder next week. I will also be sending out the CIP document for you to review, give you plenty of time. I don't think we formally approved that until February, but it's over 100 pages. So we'll be sending out with the details for you guys to review. That's all I have.
We had applicant physical agility testing and written testing on Wednesday, yesterday. 13 people showed up, which is more than we thought would make it. And 4 failed the sit-up, which was unusual. Usually it's the run that causes problems, but not this time.
It is around the holidays.
We're down to about 14, I think 14, 15 applicants, but I think there's some good ones in there. So we interview on January 17th.
How many sit-ups do you?
Depends on your age, but for people under 30, it's 35 in a minute.
Okay.
So I have one
People are
applicant
about
can only do
10.
20. I don't know. That's all.
All right, Chief Porter.
On December 3rd, the fire department was called for the report of a structure fire at Holland Farms. When we got there, crews were met with some moderate smoke on the 3rd story. We did find that it was a contained incident where a resident had put something in the microwave that it was completely accidental. But I think what came from that is that it allowed us to facilitate some really good conversations with the facility regarding evacuation plans with elderly. Some residents got moved from the 3rd floor to the bottom floor because of it. It allowed our staff to have some further discussion about operations in high-rise facilities, considering the hotels and all of those type of things coming. So what could have been a very scary situation really turned into a teachable moment for both us and staff. So if anybody saw that come across their pulse point, if they watched that, that's what happened at Holland Farms. Thank you.
Wayne.
Nothing tonight.
All right, Tony, do you have anything?
Nothing else for me tonight. Just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas. Thanks.
Gary?
Nothing tonight.
Luke Pierce?
Just a couple things I also wanted to mention on census. July 1st is the count date. So that's the day we'll ask people for stuff. And then the self-response will start May 28th and go through June 21st. And then they'll do the field enumeration from the 21st of June through August 6th. So those are the dates that all that will be happening. Again, we'll be telling people that a lot over the next few months. Residential permits tailed off a little bit here into December. We only ended with 4, so that's too bad. Still a pretty solid year all overall with 180 home permits. Commercial side continued to go well. We received the Christian Brothers plans and Quick Star this week. So we have those in the office to start looking at and start getting those going.
Ed?
Hey, just a couple quick comments, I guess. David and I served together for quite a few years, actually, between the chamber board and scouting. So we knew each other fairly well. And it's been a pleasure to serve with him. I've enjoyed it. Appreciate his comments. I appreciate his good work with numbers, particularly. And Stephanie, I've invited her back on her off nights, like if she's got Thursday nights free, just to ask questions, because she has such good questions, really smart. But anyway, I just wanted to thank them for their service and the work that they did. I'm sure you all have already. And wish everybody a happy Christmas. Go ahead, see you follow that one. This is your last year.
Well, I'm gonna finish up. I started last time and did about half the groups, but finish my thank you. So library staff, you guys are great. You need, if you're not getting enough activities out of the Parks Department, you'll visit the library because they have something that the Parks Department doesn't have, and you just back and forth. You can go and probably find something to do 3 times a day all year long. So between those 2 groups, so thank you guys very much. Admin staff, you guys are just getting all of them together. So thank you. You guys answer questions very quickly. It's awesome. I love it. And then Luke Ferris, the detail you guys provide us ahead of time and answering our stupid questions.
Never.
Questions that you should, you sit back and say, I've answered this question 10 times for you while you're asking again. Thank you. Patience is great. Same thing for Holly. I always feel like there's stupid questions for that department too, but just in general, I say thank you to all you guys. So, and then the rest of the elected staff.
Hey, don't forget to suck up to the police and the fire because you might need them.
I did that last time. The rest of the elected officials, just thank you guys. It's been great.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Ed for another 4 years. Jason and George get to join him. So, have fun.
One last MPO thing. There was a consultant hired for the executive director search. They plan to have their candidates selected by 4th of February. The final interviews will be done on the 15th of February, and the decision on who will be hired will be done at that policy committee meeting that day. That's the goal.
I'd just like to thank Stephanie and David also. It makes our jobs a lot easier when you've got council members kind of prepared, are interested, and are doing it for the benefit of the city, and are intelligent, you know? And it really does make it a lot easier. It's been a pleasure the last 8 years. You guys are, you know, definitely resources for us. That's a lot of issues. So
Yeah, maybe they'll serve on the committee or
yeah,
something.
that's right. What a look.
I get that look at home too.
Give them a week.
So I would say, again, same as everybody, thank you both very much. I know the mayor was really disappointed that he couldn't be here tonight for your last meeting, and he is gonna try and be mayor just by Zoom, and just wasn't going, so. Census, regardless of his things. That's it. So before we finish, I would like to read a couple things acknowledging David and Stephanie. So first, I'm going to stay up here, and then I'm going to invite all of council to come down with me out front. We'll take a picture and have a little presentation. So Stephanie has been an advocate, supporter, strengthening critic, and overall quality asset for the city of Norwalk for over 18 years. She first began assisting the city in 2008 when she joined the Planning and Zoning Commission. She began her term as city council member in 2016. She's been instrumental in her role on the city school work group, Des Moines Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, the MPO, the Highway 65-5 Task Force, Park and Recreation Advisory Board Liaison, Public Works Work Group, Administrative and Policy Work Group, Economic Development Work Group, Marketing Work Group, Construction Board of Appeals Liaison, Library Board of Trustees Liaison, and the Public Arts Work Group, just to name a few. Stephanie is the champion of trails. She was a major contributor to the Greenways Master Plan, as well as several updates of the city's comprehensive plan. As the trail system champion, she did more than just show up for meetings. She walked a lot. She helped with our trail system inventory for the ribbon cutting of the Great Western Trail Connection. Stephanie rode her bike to the event. Even if she, well, I didn't write this. I'm just saying, somebody says, even if you just watch your bike on the hills instead of. One of Stephanie's most notable achievements is her influence and involvement with the MPO. This Metro-wide organization plays a key role in the overall planning and transportation planning of Central Iowa. She became a member of the executive committee with the MPO and served on other critical committees such as the funding committee. Stephanie's actions brought a focus to Norwalk, which will continue to help shape our community in a positive way for years to come. Stephanie has a knack for catching details that many people overlook. She consistently demonstrates her willingness to go the extra mile by doing research beyond what is presented in the council packet. She always communicated with staff to ask questions early and help the city look good. She kept an eye out for grant opportunities that resulted in several grant awards during her tenure. It's hard to put a number on those grants. So we'll just say it's been a significant investment that has been priceless for the community. So thank you for preserving and improving why people want to live and work in Norwalk. And David has been a careful, watchful eye for the city of Norwalk for over 8 years. He first began his term as city council member in 2016. David's been instrumental in his role on Bravo, the Water Reclamation Authority, Library Board of Trustees, Administrative and Policy Work Group, Economic Development Work Group, Finance Work Group, Public Arts Work Group, Board of Adjustment, City School Work Group, Public Works Work Group, Marketing Work Group, and the Planning and Zoning Commission liaison. David's a champion of the Founders District and vibrant downtown. Projects in this area include new water lines, street repairs, a house demolition, nuisance abatements, new sidewalk connections, complete reconstruction of our downtown Main Street, and several other projects for the city partnered with other entities. David has helped the city with critical financial decisions that took us from exciting audits to the ever appreciated boring audits. David has served on our CIP committee, which has managed over $40 million of critical infrastructure, recreation, and other important projects. Our city staff was held to high standard by David. At the same time, David was consistently supportive and advancing wages and benefits to ensure our staff was treated fairly and compensated justly. One of the most significant achievements in Dave's idea of managing city finances between money market accounts and standard accounts. This idea has yielded interest revenue of over $1.8 million since he first brought it forth in 2017. So we all thank you for that. So thank you, David, for everything that you have done to make Norwalk a place where people want to live. Okay, so everybody come down front.
Oh.
Actually, wanna go up there in front of the.
Where you want? Okay, so. The Lester, City of Norwalk Appreciation Award, and the Stephanie and sincere appreciation for your outstanding tribute. Okay, yes. Now just do.
Very nice.
Now here comes that final day.
Okay, so. Now, number 10, going to closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5 sub 1 sub I to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session. Jim, is this a valid reason to go into closed session?
Yes, has the individual requested that?
Yes.
Okay, yes, it is then.
Okay. So, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Lindsay, please call the roll.
Councilmember Cool,
Yeah.
Livingston.
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Baker.
Yeah.
Reba.
All right, at 6:52, we will go into